Well, the house hunting continues. We looked at a couple houses this weekend. There was one in Goffstown, right in the center of Goffstown. Beautiful town. Goffstown's great. The house was great. The property was fantastic. It was biggest lot in the neighborhood, like biggest piece of property, all cleared, nice big backyard, detached 2-car garage with a lot of space between the garage and the house. So just like, big sort of driveway, like that half donut, half circle sort of driveway situation. And the house was good. It was a 4-bedroom, 1-bath, which the 1 bathroom, it drives me nuts. Those are so common around here. But the thing about the bedrooms was it was weird that they would even consider it a 4-bedroom because what it really was a 2-bedroom with a dining room that had a door, and the current owners were using it as a dining room. And that, if you looked at it, because it's right off the kitchen, you wouldn't think of it as a bedroom. I guess it technically has a closet, but it's more like a dining room with a broom closet. So they're considering that a bedroom. And then up in the attic, there's this sort of afterthought, aftermarket bedroom, if you will, where you go into the attic. There's a stairway into the attic, unfinished. But then there's a room built inside of the unfinished attic that has its own door, and you walk in, and it was someone who's using it as like a hobby space, like an office, because it had drop ceiling and fluorescent lighting. So it could be a bedroom. But again, if you hadn't looked at a listing and you just walked into that house cold, you would probably come out saying, yeah, that's a 2-bedroom, 1-bath. So anyways, there's a 4-bedroom, 1-bath, which isn't necessarily our ideal setup, but the house was nice and the property's great and the location is fantastic. I mean, Goffstown is a really, really great place to live, especially the location. It's, walking distance down to the town. The turnoff, though, I guess if you can call it a turnoff, is that I think the entire population of Goffstown was looking at the house with us. I mean, it was packed. They have 2 open houses today and tomorrow, and they were just slammed. There was cars lined up and down the road. Parking was like tight. We had to go around another street to get parking. So a lot of people looking at that house, a lot of people who looked like they were potential investors. There's one guy who was just by himself who looked real serious. He had a flashlight. I mean, he could be looking at it as just a home, but something was just giving me the feeling that he was looking at it for some sort of an investment, either to, flip it or to turn it into an Airbnb. I mean, I don't know these days. There's so many people just buying. And for the price point in that area of Goffstown, I mean, it's just an investment. You could buy it and let the house rot for 5 years, and you could probably still turn a profit just on the lot and the location alone for the house. So we like that one. Are we going to put an offer down on it? It's pretty probable. I think neither of us are holding our breath that we're going to get it. In a perfect world, I'd love to. I just don't see any world where we have any leverage there, just because we're not going to offer over asking. But we have another house at 9 a.m. tomorrow that is also a really, really promising house. And it's a really good price, almost to the point where it's one of those things where you're like, all right, we got to go in there being like, where's the catch? Where's the catch? There doesn't seem to be, as far as we can tell in the listing. It's small, like it's appropriately priced for its size. But we've seen a lot of houses get marked down. On Zillow, houses that we've looked at in the past. There are more houses now on the market, coming onto the market, I guess because summer's over and school's about to start. But we've just seen a lot more stuff in our price range suddenly coming up. And a lot of the houses that we looked in the spring are still on the market or have either not been sold, but rather taken off the market, or have had various price decreases. So all of that to say, there does seem maybe like something like the urgency or the hotness of the market is maybe chilling out. I don't know. It's tough to know, but I feel like everything has been so overvalued, and it's been going up and up and up. And I'm not saying that anything's going down, but I do wonder if the real estate market, if not really this year, but maybe over this next year, is hitting somewhat of a plateau. I mean, they've been talking about it slowing, and just in this some sort of spring to summer season, I think we've seen a little bit more of that. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too optimistic or reading into something that's not there. But we looked at a lot of houses in the spring, and then there was just this like dead period during maybe mid-June to now, where there was like not one house that we had any interest in. Even if it was in our price range, it was just like nothing. Nothing that we could be interested in by any stretch of the imagination. And even stuff that like it just halted. So now it seems like the faucet is open back up. And yeah, we went and looked at some houses this morning, and then we just went up to Barrington to visit some old friends of ours. And we went to a walking trail up there, which is not a walking trail. It's like a hiking trail, but it's kind of cool because they've added these like Winnie the Pooh themes. So you walk around and you can visit Rabbit's house and Piglet's house and Pooh's house. And like, it's got all these like little quotes from the Winnie the Pooh books on the trees with some illustrations. And it's cool. I guess people travel from around. I mean, it was popping. And when we were leaving, there was this couple that was like wearing all of this Winnie the Pooh merchandise, and they were there as tourists, so it seemed like maybe they had traveled some distance just to check it out. I don't think I would do that. I don't think it's a run out and go see kind of thing, but it is definitely something that Sam said she had seen it in a reel or something a couple years back, being like, you got to come check this out with your kids. But I'm willing to bet that reel was kind of over romanticizing what we saw. It's really cool, but I wouldn't travel to it. So we went and checked that out, and we checked out Barrington a little bit. Just nice little town. It's funny, all these little towns in New England. There's so many towns in New Hampshire that you just feel like you didn't know existed, or you heard about, and to drive through them, and they all kind of look the same, but they have their own little spin on the character. And maybe it's because have houses and moving on the brain, but every town has its own little flair that makes it pretty unique, that you can see why there would be such, I think there's a lot of pride in these little towns. People have their little thing that they like about each one, or the ones that they live in. They like the little things, even if they seem insignificant to an outsider. When you live in them long enough, those little, because they're so close-knit, those little ornaments of culture become pride points for the people that live there. So, yeah, so it was a good day. Super tired. I didn't sleep like hardly at all last night. I didn't I went to bed at like 10, but I didn't fall asleep until almost 1. Then I got up early tomorrow, but then we had to run around. And tomorrow's again the same thing. We're looking at a house tomorrow. Tomorrow's Caden's birthday, so we're going to go bowling. And yeah. So it's a weekend where it is going by really quickly. Just because we have it packed. Sam and I have a horrible habit, as I think a lot of people do, of looking at a free weekend on the calendar and being like, "What? We're not doing anything. Let's do something." And then we do something, and then next thing you know, it's like, "Oh my God, can we get a weekend where we don't do anything?" There's a Jimmy Fallon. I think it was Jimmy Fallon said, "The moment I put it on the calendar, I don't want to do it anymore." And I relate to that in a lot of ways. I sign up for things, and then the moment I've committed to them, I'm like, oh, why did I do that? Why did I commit to that? I don't want to do that. And I find myself doing that a lot with things from time to time. So that's about it. Just thought I'd hop on and tell you a little bit about our house hunting. More to come. Maybe I'll take some footage of the house tomorrow. I didn't even think of it today, but yeah.